I definitely say one of the main positives, one of the main plus sides of today's technology is the communication we have, you know? The ability, think about TikTok, how quickly we can reach hundreds of people across the world, how quickly we can share information from one person to another. People you would have never met in your lifetime, you're seeing their opinion on things. And that can be amazing. That can be absolutely wonderful because we can get together, you know, we can emphasize our community better. We can reach one another and be there for one another. But in that same hand, seeing a little bit of everything all of the time, it can be very detrimental, you know? It can be detrimental toward our empathy. It could be detrimental toward our attention spans. You sit there and you scroll through a social media app and you see someone eating lunch with their friend. And then you scroll and you see a picture of a dog. And then you scroll and you see a funny meme. And then you scroll and you see a news article about how our president is essentially telling us that we're going to be stuck in the spider web of capitalism for the rest of our life, you know? And it's like you get whiplash. So like all good things, I highly recommend regulation, moderation, balance. Too much of a good thing is a bad thing.
In this era of smartphones, I kind of feel like there is an unrealistic expectation placed on a lot of people. Not only that, but we have a lot of privacy issues and predators, catfishing. So it has its flaws, but it also has the most outreach and the most productivity tools to date, to be honest. So I'm kind of 50-50 on how I feel like it positively affects the generation.
Everything around us can be considered technology, honestly. The Industrial Revolution skyrocketed us into a world that every little thing can be automated, right? You see behind me, I use my PC. It helps me for, you know, my hobby. It helps me for gaming. It helps me for media tech. It helps me for my community, right? But it can also help for work. It helps for scheduling. It helps for budgeting, you know? Same thing with my phone. Your phone is essentially a giant computer in the palm of your hand, you know? And we use technology every day, from the lights that we have to the floors that we walk on. So it really depends on what you consider technology to be.
My main tool now is my cell phone, and I use it for stuff like gaming, writing, research, entertainment, and you can also do things like communication, shopping, photography, practically anything you can ever think of, just right there.
When you do something wrong, your parents usually ground you, right? One of the go-to things that they grounded me from was my phone. And it was because they knew that I used it a lot. I derived a lot of my love from it, put a lot of my attention into it. But in that same hand, I also would use it to escape the reality that I had, you know? I felt unsafe using it because of the fact that I didn't want it taken away. Make sense? Yeah.
I only ever watched TV in my room because growing up, it became my safe place to like write, create, and enact whenever I wanted to without any judgment. I only ever felt uncomfortable watching TV if adults were around because they kind of saw it as childish or saw my entertainment as odd in some way. But as I got older, I met people online that actually liked the entertainment I liked.
The internet has taught me so much. The internet has taught me everything that the school hasn't, you know? I can name 5 different people that I know right off the top of my head that could sit here and tell you social media has taught them more important things than their school system ever did, you know? And with that being said, you have to have common sense. You have to be able to differentiate between what is actual facts and what's not on the internet. But if you're able to do that, it can be a very powerful tool.
Well, since it kind of gave me a view of how people like to create, it kind of gave me had the idea of to write and become a writer like later on in life. So I kind of consider that as an accomplishment in itself.
Absolutely. I don't like to label anything as bad, right? I think that no matter what happens in this lifetime, you can put it in a positive perspective. You can learn from it. And so it doesn't matter what kind of technology we have now, what kind of technology we're going to have in 5 years from now. It's going to help everybody, including myself.